Right, okay guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. Two apologies. Firstly, about the dull background. I was going to set up my pad and have my games behind me, but you know what, I thought it doesn't really matter because these videos are all about me talking rather than what I look like. And secondly, apologies about the shininess of I shaved my hair earlier on, so hence the reason it's a bit bright. So how are you doing? I'm actually recording this on Thursday because I've got something on tomorrow night, which would be tonight, depending on when you're actually watching this. And rather than leave the Friday Waffle, I think it was last week's Friday Waffle, did I do it on Sunday? It was like 3 or 4 days late, so I didn't want to do that. I do like to try and get the Friday Waffle out on time. Don't know why, well, it's called a Friday for a reason. But I hope you're all doing fine. I'm alright. Had not a bad week at work, and I've got to say, what a difference. What an absolute difference it makes being in a job where you know what you're doing, you're respected, you're not getting threatened, Yeah, really enjoying being back in a team of people that I know, and just, I'm enjoying it. I really am enjoying it, which is nice. I had a wee trip to Dundee today actually, which was nice just to get out in the car for a wee while. So yeah, I mean, I'm doing absolutely fine. Weather-wise, got to say, what a change in the weather. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful last week, really warm. You kind of felt that summer was kind of coming in. And really nice over the weekend, but this week it has just been bloody cold. I don't know what's going on with the weather. We're almost into May. I mean, it's going to be May tomorrow. Well, it's going to be May by the time you watch this, and it's still cold. And then within about a month, it's going to start getting darker again. I mean, seriously. Yeah, but I'm absolutely fine. Keeping quite busy. You might have, if you're not on my what do you call it? My Facebook Mainmeister page, I have managed to secure an interview, a Blind Mates Only. If you're quite new to the channel, you probably haven't seen any Blind Mates Onlys. That is basically where I wouldn't call it interviews. I don't like the term interviews. It's where I have a chat with somebody. Now, it's always somebody that's, involved in the sort of gaming industry of some point. I mean, I've had some cracking guests over the years. In fact, I mean, every single person that I've spoken to has been really, really nice. Go and check it out, have a look at the playlist. But I keep getting asked, when are you going to have another guest on? When are you going to have another guest on? The problem is, it's not particularly easy trying to get a hold of some people because there's a lot of people who they're not interested in talking. I've tried to get a hold of Tony Crowder, I've tried to get a hold of Martin Galway, tried to get a hold of Gary Payne. I don't know how many times Gary Payne has said he'll join me for an interview, and then it never happens. So I am always trying to get people, and then just the other day there I was watching one of his videos, Dave Perry, the Games Animal. Now, you probably know Dave Perry from Games Master. Yep, that famous Mario incident. Now, like a lot of people, he probably thought Dave Perry was a bit, he was a bit up himself, and but you know what, that was the character that he portrayed, and I'm looking forward to asking him what he thought of, what he thought of the reaction, because the type of person he was very, very, I suppose he was quite arrogant, he was quite big-headed about himself, about his boasting, but that's what made him the person he became. I mean, fair play to the guy. The gaming industry is a massive, massive thing, and he's probably the closest we've kind of had to actually having some sort of big name in the industry, so I'm really looking forward. I'm going to be talking to him on Tuesday next week, it's probably going to be, you know, hopefully things go ahead, because I have organised interviews in the past and then just before it gets cancelled. So fingers crossed it goes ahead and I'm able to chat to Dave, and you know, all things going well, I'll get the video probably put out maybe the tail end of next week, the beginning of the week after. So looking forward to doing that. I am conscious that I don't do many videos. I tend to do a lot of live streams, which I think, to be fair, people do enjoy them. But I think it's important, it is for me, that I want to still stay true to my origins, and that's making videos about video games. It doesn't always have to be me talking to people. I mean, I really enjoy doing live streams, doing interviews, whatever, because you've got somebody to kind of bounce off, somebody to kind of, you know, chew the fat with. But, you know, as I said, I think it's important to me that I want to still stay in touch with my original YouTube channel content, the Blind Mates Onlys, the Arcade Perfect My Arses, the 8-Bit Face Off Kerfuffle. So I am really intended to still kind of try and stick to these videos, get some content put out there for you guys to watch. Now, I didn't have anything to really talk about. I've got a few questions up there, but what I thought I would do is, and it's a subject I've covered a couple of times, I think, and it is, are you embarrassed to be a video gamer? Now, when I started playing video games back in the 80s, it was everybody, well, not everybody, but, you know, most, when I say kids, I mean, I wasn't a kid when I started off in video games. I was a teenager. I was like 18 years old. It was a massively popular pastime. It was, you know, but it was always looked upon as something that kids did. And, you know, I wouldn't say I was proud to be a gamer, but, you know, I was quite happy talking about computer games to people when I was younger. But then as the 80s kind of drew to a close and the 90s came in, a lot of my mates had, in their words, grown up. They'd grown up and they had moved away from video games. But I remained a video gamer. But it's something that I would never really kind of openly discuss as such. I mean, I always remember one of the there was a time when I wanted to buy a SNES, and again, apologies about repeating myself. I wanted to get myself a SNES, and rather than I went up to the shopping centre, and it was a shop called Tandy who used to kind of sell electronic stuff. They had a SNES, and I can't even remember what pack it was. It was the one, the Mario All Stars, I think it was. And I went into the shop, and I was kind of looking, you know, standing looking at them, looking at the different packs they had on sale. And the guy said to me, "Oh, can I help you, mate?" And I went, yeah. And rather than saying I want to buy a SNES, I told him I'm looking for, it's a computer game for my son. Is it something Sega Nintendo or something? I'm not quite sure what it's called. And he went, no, Sega and Nintendo are separate systems. He says, you've got the Super Nintendo and you've got the Sega Mega Drive. And I says, hang on a second. I says, what one's that? And he says, that's the Super Nintendo. And I said, I think that's the one he's wanting. So yeah, I'll take that. So I was embarrassed back in the early 90s to admit that I was actually buying games for myself. And another episode was I was at work. I used to work in this big office, and what would I be? I would be, I'm trying to think when it'd be, probably 86, 87. So I would be about what, 20. Yeah, I'd be about 20 years old. And I've no idea how, because when I was at work, I never mentioned computer games, because I worked in it was a building site, well, it was a construction company. So it was full of, you know, guys, and I mean, there was lots of girls as well, but it was just something that I never ever spoke about. I never mentioned that I like computer games. And somehow I got into, I must have, I don't know, I got talking to a guy who worked, this guy would be about probably 20 years older than me. So he would be, I was 20, he was probably in his 40s. And we got talking about video games, and it turns out he had a Commodore 64. And before I knew it, we started swapping computer games. He would bring in tapes for me to tape, and I did the same for him. But again, it was all cloak and dagger. I was genuinely embarrassed. I didn't want to be outed as a video gamer. And that it didn't really bother me. I always remember one day I was working in this. It was in the accounts department, and there was a girl who I used to fancy. I ended up dating her for a wee while, and I was sitting beside her. We're working away, and this guy came in, and he came in for some business. He was talking to one of the other girls about some accounts. Then he said to me, "Oh, Alan, I've got some more computer games for you. Have you got such and such?" And he started asking me about these computer games, and I just wanted the ground to swallow him up. I was really, really embarrassed. I didn't want this girl or these women in the office to know that I was into computer games, because it was back then. It was looked upon as a kid's pastime. So there was that. So I kind of grew up through the 80s, still playing computer games. My mates, my kind of good mates knew that I was still into computer games. I got the Amiga, and they got the Amiga as well. But again, it was something that just really was never really discussed. And then, of course, years later, one of the things that I found fantastic was I joined Yak Yak, which was it still is actually. It's a forum that is kind of run by Jeff Minter. It's not run by him as such, but it's basically Jeff Minter, Lamasoft forum. I joined that back in, when would it be, 1987 I think it was. And this was where I suddenly realised that I was among people who I could actually talk to computer games about. One of the highlights of my life was when I went to the first Retrovision, which was run by Mark Rayson. And I went down to Oxford, and Retrovision, it was basically like the very, very first computer show. All these big massive Play Blackpools, Retrovision was like it was like a home version of that. People had taken along computers, set up computers, there was a couple of arcade games, and I went down to Oxford and I met all these guys, and all we were interested in doing was drinking beer and talking about Commodore 64s, talking about Spectrums, talking about Attack of the Mutant Camels. It was wonderful, and here I was, I'd kind of hid myself away for all these years, not wanting anybody to know that I was into computers. And then here I was in this environment where we're actively playing computer games. I was getting to, I got to meet Jeff Minter. That was wonderful. And since then, I've always remained on forums, etc., talking about computer games. So it's an outlet, because none of my friends up till that point, they all stopped playing computer games. I think some of them still, they still had Xbox 360s, whatever, but none of them were into the old games. They weren't interested at all. And then, of course, more recently, I started going to a computer club every month. And again, that is wonderful, because you're getting to actually hang out with mates, people your same age as you, and again, we're just talking about computer games. We're discussing Manic Miner. We're seeing who can get the best score in Berserk, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be around like-minded people. Then, of course, YouTube. This has been a massive thing for me. Again, I started off the channel. It was purely and simply it was an outlet for me just to make daft videos. I never dreamt for 1 second that anybody would actually be watching it. And so, yeah, obviously, the fact that I can I can go online and, you know, broadcast myself live on the internet on a Sunday night and have maybe 40 people watching. You know, that's absolutely wonderful. But getting back to, are you embarrassed to be a video gamer? Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. It's a thing that I mentioned that happened maybe 3 years ago. I rather foolishly mentioned to somebody at my work that I had a YouTube channel. Now, you know, I was a manager at my work, and you can imagine somebody finding out that some grown-up manager has got a video game. He's got a video games YouTube channel. You know, you're going to be the laughing stock. So I happened to mention this guy because he was talking about old computer games, and we got talking about it, and I showed him my channel, and I did say to him, my parting kind of words to him were, you know, please don't mention this to anybody, because, you know, it's one of these things where people would think it extremely odd that a 50-year-old man is playing video games. And he said, yeah, I'll say nothing. And then a few days later, I got a text message from one of the engineers, basically kind of having a dig, calling me Mr. Pac-Man, and it wasn't done in a friendly laughter. I mean, the guy who I'm talking about, who sent me the text, he wasn't a nice person. He was always one of these people who would take great delight in making a fool of somebody, not in a nice way. So when he sent me this text, I thought, oh, bloody hell. And then somebody else mentioned it, another engineer mentioned that, oh, see, you've got a video games channel. And then a manager mentioned it to me as well. In fact, it was this manager that told me, oh, I heard you, she called me Mainmeister, and I'm like, how do you know that? And she said, because I've seen your YouTube channel. I'm thinking, why the hell, how on earth has somebody found out? So that's what it was. I told one person in confidence, and then they told a few other people, and before I knew it, there was like 3 or 4 people in my work who knew about the channel. And like I said, it wasn't in a nice way. It was like, you know, genuinely trying to kind of make a fool of me. So at that point, I decided to take the channel down. I didn't delete any videos. I just simply took it off air. I made the account inactive. And at that point, I just ticked over into 500 subscribers. And so it was absolutely galling to suddenly have to go from like hitting 500 to going to like having no channel. And then it was Lactobacillus Prime, Mark, who's a good friend of mine, who I've made through YouTube. Mark said to me, like, why have you taken your channel down? And I told him. And then, you know, people were messaging Mark and saying, look, there's all these people that, you know, they're supporting you. And I mentioned it in a couple of forums, and some people said, you know, get your channel back up again. He says, what you do is fantastic. You make a lot of people happy. It's irrelevant what age you are. You know, you do something that is helping others. You're doing something that is entertaining others. You're not doing it for money. You're not doing it for any financial gain. And you bring a lot of happiness to people. And that kind of resonated with me, so I thought, you know what, stuff you. So I put the channel back up, and lo and behold, when I did that, the subscribers had fallen to 23. I'll always remember that. I went to 23, so I went from 500 to 23. And Lactobacillus Prime, very, very kindly, I mean, he did it off his own back, he put out a video basically asking people to support my channel. He explained very briefly what had happened, and he says, can you please go and help Mainmeister get his subscribers back? And I kid you not, within probably a month, I think I was about 600. I went from 23 and it just jumped up, and I've never looked back since. And then shortly after that, I decided on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, I came out. I put a post saying, as many of you may know, I'm a keen runner, not right now obviously. I says, however, I've also got a second hobby, and it's video games, and here's my channel. So I put out a link to my channel on my Facebook page, because I wanted everybody to know that I like video games, so that nobody could come back and make a fool of me. And that felt really, really good. Doing that, it was like a massive weight off my shoulders. And the funny thing was, a few people, even including a couple of like the senior managers at my work, said, "Oh, I had a look at your YouTube channel. That's brilliant. You know, how can you do that? I was watching one video. You're playing Pac-Man. You know, that's awesome." And you know, since then, I have never ever looked back. However, and it's not because I'm embarrassed, but I do try and keep my personal Facebook page separate from my Main Meister page, because there's nothing worse than being on looking at somebody's Facebook page and all you get is like, you know, there's one guy on my Facebook page, all he posts are posts about football, and I'm not remotely interested in football, and you get a lot of that. And so what I didn't want to do is I didn't want me to bore my regular Facebook friends with constantly putting stuff about video games, because I don't post that much about it. Yeah, I make tons of videos, but I don't really make many sort of Facebook posts. So that's why I started up a Main Meister Facebook page. I wanted to kind of keep it separate. And I think part of me as well is, if somebody wants to follow me on, you know, Main Meister, the Facebook page, I would rather they followed me on the Main Meister page rather than my personal page, because at the end of the day, on my personal page, there's a lot of personal things, funnily enough. There's pictures of my family, my daughter, etc. And, you know, I don't really want gaming friends, if that makes any sense, to know about my personal side of my life. There's quite a few people that I've become friendly with through YouTube who I do regard as proper real friends, and they're on my Alan Stewart Facebook page. But I do always try and point people, initially at least, to the Main Meister page, because if I'm going to make any post about video games, it's always going to be on the Main Meister one. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's interesting. I was doing a video with, in fact, we were recording part 3 of the Sid show, and one of the guys had a Pac-Man t-shirt on, and I said, "Oh, cool t-shirt." I said, "I've actually got one of these myself." But I mean, being a video gamer, a lot of my family and friends would buy me video games related stuff, you know, t-shirts and that. And I don't know whether it's because I'm embarrassed by it, but I don't think I would ever walk about with a Pac-Man t-shirt or, you know, whatever, I've got a Space Invaders t-shirt. I don't know, I don't know what it is. Maybe unconsciously, I'm not embarrassed, but I don't know. Each to their own. It's just, yeah, I've never been overly comfortable about, you know, wearing like gaming related clothes. I think possibly, I mean, the only time I wear like a gaming related t-shirt, etc., would be if I was going to one of the play events, because again, you're in an environment where it's just full of people who are there for video games, so I don't mind that. But I would never consciously wear any video games related clothes. That's just me, you know what I mean? That's just the way I am. So maybe partly, maybe subconsciously, maybe it's because I'm an old person, I don't know. There's still a bit of me that feels embarrassed about being a video gamer. I don't know. Possibly. What are your thoughts on it? Are you quite open to people about, you know, video games? I mean, I know quite a few of my friends who are on YouTube and are on my Alan Stewart Main Meister page or Alan Stewart Facebook page. They will quite happily put posts about video games on their Facebook page. So there is obviously lots of people that are quite happy about that. And like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just think, you know, maybe unconsciously I'm still a wee bit uncomfortable about talking about it. I'm not sure. I don't know. Considering I've got a YouTube channel where I talk to the world effectively, it's a kind of strange way to behave. But anyway, that's just me. But anyway, listen guys, I don't want this video to drag on too long, so I'm going to just crack on with questions. Now I'm sitting quite a distance away from the screen, and I've got my mouse, so I can see the screen over here. So I'm just going to read through them. So on the last waffle, Batman I recently modded one of my Mega Drives to run at 60 megahertz. No switches, no soldering, just cutting a tracer on the circuit board. Modding in the loosest possible sense. You know what, Bat? Absolutely fair play to you. I have never, well, in fact, let me just finish the question. Mercifully, it works a treat. Have you ever performed any kind of mod or adjustment to a system to enhance its abilities? Did it work? I was just about to say no, but that's not technically true. I have never ever tried to solder or like add a computer chip because I don't have the ability. I've never done it ever. However, I will. I did buy myself a little soldering kit, and my mate Neil is going to be once the self isolation thing passes. Neil is going to give me some tutorials on how to do some soldering. So, because I think it's quite important, because owning all these old systems, I think you really need to be aware that at some point you're going to have to start changing capacitors and that kind of stuff. Now, right now, I wouldn't have a clue how to do that. So that's why I do want to learn. But to answer your question, I've never like done any soldering of anything. The only modding I've actually done, and it was dead easy, was I removed the optical drive from the Dreamcast, and I put in one of the SD card things, whatever you want to call it. It involved obviously taking it to bits, taking it out, plugging it in. I mean, it was very, very simple. You know, the fact that I was able to do it, I think that's the only modding I've done. I would love, like I said, I'd love to have the skill to be able to do some basic modding, because I mean, I've got, you know, I know you can do, is it a composite mod, where rather than having to plug it in and tune a TV, you can do a little bit of soldering so that you can just plug it into the sort of like is it the yellow cable or whatever it is, the yellow plug in the back of your TV, and you get a nice crisp clear picture. So that's something I do want to learn how to do, definitely. But yeah, fair play to you for being able to do that to the Mega Drive. It's mental that, you know, I'm sure back in the day there was clever people that could do that, but the fact that you're just, you know, you're just cutting one wire and effectively making it run a lot better is crazy. So anyway, Bat, thank you very much for your question, mate. Wee Bob, how you doing, Bob? For the Spectrum Next, what newly made games have you tried, and what is the favourite, if any? I've got to say, Bob, I've not got any new games. I really need to. I've not played the Next for a couple of weeks. I might actually give it a wee go tonight, actually, after I finish this waffle. I've not bought any of the games. I know they were having trouble, or not so much trouble. There was a bit of a delay in it. I mean, there's Baggers in Space, and there's a couple other games. I've not bought any yet. Hopefully, I mean, if anybody knows if this is possible, is there a website where you can actually like buy them online and just download the image? You know, if that was the case, I would be doing that. You know what I mean? And like I said, if there's anyone that knows the best place for any new games where you can download them, I know Dean Swain very kindly gave me a game which I've not actually put on yet. I'll need to try it. But no, I've not tried any new games yet, Bob, and I really need to do that. So far, I've basically just been playing it like a Spectrum, and I know that's kind of wasting it, you know what I mean? But anyway, thanks for your question, Bob. Milfy Swinbuckle, on Monday I just got my 401 handheld games console, the one that you recommended that cost £7 or so. I would have had it a couple of months ago, but my niece I got my niece to order it for me, as I haven't got a PayPal account. Anyway, because of the virus, I haven't seen her since, but she decided to post it to me, which came as a nice Monday morning surprise. I've got to say, it's pretty wonderful and worth every penny. Yeah, I mean, you know, something that costs £7, absolutely mental. It's really nice. It's a NES on a chip, but it's cracking. My question though is this: why hasn't this thing been done for a Commodore 64, Spectrum or Amiga? I know that you can get the mini versions of such computers, though no Amiga one as far as I'm aware. Do you agree they would sell like hotcakes, or perhaps they would only appeal to the likes of herself for nostalgia reasons? The Amiga Mini, there is something technically you could call an Amiga Mini, and it was called the Amiga which is a little box and it runs Amiga games. Now I did buy one of these maybe 2-3 years ago, and in fact more than that, probably 4 years ago. But the problem was I could not. The picture was physically too big for the TV. I could not for the life of me get it to shrink, and I tried it on about 4 TVs and it was the same. The picture was just too kind of elongated. So I ended up selling it. I sold it to Chris Wilkins of Fusion Books, and I think Chris sold it shortly after. So I don't even know if our Amiga is still a thing. Google it and find out. But yeah, as far as handhelds, I think the biggest problem with handhelds is you've obviously got a lot of computer games involved keys. Now they all came with keyboards, and obviously trying to replicate a keyboard on a little handheld system is not going to be the easiest thing to do. I mean, I've got Amiga emulators, I've got a C64 emulator, I've got Spectrum emulators on various handhelds, and they work really well. But, and here's the big but, you've got to be a bit of a geek to kind of get them working, because they're not as simple as like a console emulator where you just load the ROM and away you go. You've got start, select, and maybe 2 fire buttons. With computer emulators, you've got to be able to bring up the keyboard on the screen and that kind of stuff, and it's a bit of a faff. And I think for that reason, that is why, there's, well, as far as I'm aware, there's never been an Amiga or C64 handheld. There was obviously the infamous Spectrum Vega 2, which they raised. It was a Kickstarter. They raised, I think, was it 700 odd thousand or was it 500 odd thousand? I can't remember. It was about £500,000 they raised for this portable Spectrum, and I think only a sort of small handful of people actually got it. It was a complete and absolute scam. People, pledged loads of money. £500,000 was raised, and only a few people got a kind of prototype. So that's the only one I've actually ever seen, and even then, there you go. It didn't. Although they raised the money, it never actually came to fruition. So I don't know why. It might just be that trying to actually get the technology that's going to work for a computer emulator is maybe the reason people haven't attempted them, because I would imagine there'd be a lot more. If somebody brought out a handheld Mega Drive, you're going to get a lot of people interested, but that's going to be, if it was a Spectrum emulator or whatever, there's going to be less people, and if there's less people, then the chances are the production is going to be a sort of far smaller scale, and it's going to push the price of the unit up as well. So I think that's why at the moment we've not seen that. I think if things like the mini C64 and the big 64, the 64, if they sell well, then who knows, we may well see a portable one. It'd be nice if you can do that. But the thing is, like I says, there are tons and tons of options. Get yourself a PSP. The PSP plays Amiga games, Spectrum, C64 games really, really well. So just because there's never been like an official or a commercial handheld, you can still do them yourself quite easily. Get yourself a GPD-XD, any one of these sort of like Android systems, they all play these things really well. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying your 401 Milthy, and thanks for your question, mate. GPD Films, great computer club memories. Our first computer club was on a Tuesday night after school. For some bizarre reason, the school had bought about 15 48K Spectrums, networked by means of a single tape deck, with the ear socket cable split to 15 Spectrums. Fantastic. You played one tape and they all loaded. I didn't even think that was possible, Alan. Of course, 2 or 3 always failed, so there you go. There was some competition sponsored by Crest toothpaste, I think. Don't know if that still exists. But it was the time that every product wanted to associate itself with home computers. And the competition was to write a computer game, and that's how our club started. We all got together to plan and code our game called Teeth. Of course, we produced absolutely nothing, never entered the competition, and we spent the whole time pirating software for each other. Brilliant. It went on for years, still referred as Teeth long after the competition had finished, rather than the computer club. Most memorable one was when I came home to hear my wee sister tell me John Craven's news round had just broken the news about the Challengers disaster. Couldn't believe it. But the two things are now, I can't pronounce that, inextricably linked in my 80s memories. The school eventually replaced those spectrums with BBCs. I remember the self-taught computer teacher Dr. Cope was awesome and used to replace kids' broken spectrums with one from the school stock on the fly. Wow, what a guy! An absolutely amazing teacher. Who would do that? That is brilliant. Great memories, Alan. Thank you very much for that. Oh, hang on a second. Panther UK, other than the PC, what is your currently most used piece of original hardware? That is a great question, Chris. What is my most used bit of hardware other than the PC? I would, and this you're probably going to like the answer. I would probably say my Commodore 64. Possibly followed by my PS4, I think, and then the Amiga. These are kind of the three machines. Though I've been using what you call it, my RetroPie, my sort of all-in-one arcade solution that Mike Hansen did for me. But yeah, original hardware, probably the C64, PS4 and Amiga. I think they're probably the three ones. I do try and make a point of using them on a regular basis. I'll try and what I'll usually do is I'll pick a system, one evening, and I'll just play that. I don't see any point in chopping and changing. But when I don't actually play with original hardware all that often. Just try to find the time in between doing other stuff, making videos, live streams. But yeah, probably the C64, Chris. Colin Jones, do you have anything on the theme of old computers, games and accessories on your wish list for the near future, and if so, what are you after? Right now, Colin, I don't think there is anything. See, I'm one of these people, I'm very, very impulsive. If I want to get something, then I'll genuinely just go out and buy it. I don't mean obviously something that's a lot of money, I would have to kind of save up for it. But I don't think there's any real hardware that I'm kind of looking for at the moment. I mean, I would like to get, and it's kind of new. I would like to get the Oculus. Is it the Oculus Go? It's the all-in-one VR thing, because I tried my mate's one and it's really, really nice. It's about £400, so it's a lot of money. So I can't afford that at the moment. But from an old point of view, I don't think there's any hardware that I really, really want that I don't have. I think if I had an opportunity to get, I don't know, an NES or even the NES Mini, if I saw one for a decent price, I'd maybe buy one. I've never owned an NES at all. Never had the NES Mini either. I mean, it's one of these systems that emulates really well in anything. So that's why I've never really had any real, urge to go out and buy one. And again, I never had one back in the day. But like I says, you can emulate NES games on virtually anything. The only other system that I've got a love-hate relationship with it, and it's the N64. I did own an N64 with the EverDrive, and I decided to sell them both. Do I regret selling them? Possibly, because I would like to have. I would still like to have had the opportunity to, actually play them. Now that I've got a really nice CRT TV in the corner of the games room, it would be nice to be able to play it again. So maybe if I got the opportunity to get an N64 and an EverDrive for not a lot of money, I would maybe do that. But nothing else. I don't think there's any sort of real classic hardware, Colin, that I can think of. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Commodore 128. I wouldn't mind a VIC-20. I have got a VIC-20, but it's not in very good condition. Don't think there's anything else. No, I don't think so. But anyway, great question, Colin. Thank you. And very, very last, I don't think it's a question, it's more just a comment. It's by my mate, my Mark Lactobacillus Prime. Alan, your waffles are like hanging out with you and you telling us about your days, week, and what is going on. The waffles basically are you sharing you, and I, as a viewer, appreciate that tremendously. It's the closest thing a lot of us geographically or pandemically challenged have to actually hanging out. I wouldn't fret about repeating yourself. Certainly would never be as bad as the Teletubbies or Groundhog Day. If you do repeat a topic, it just indicates it has your interest, and often you do add certain things to it. It's cool going back to certain favourite memories. When talking to mates face to face, people often think and talk about some good times they had. Nothing wrong with that. When I waffle, I do sometimes tell a story too. I reckon it's inevitable. It's human. It's okay. Listen, Mark, thank you very, very much. I do appreciate your very, very kind words. So anyway, listen guys, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to get it uploaded, and then so it'll be nice for you guys it'll be ready for you to go out and watch on Friday. So listen, I just want to say finally again, thank you very, very much to everybody that continues to support my channel. Thanks to all the new subscribers as well. I hope you do enjoy my content. Please remember there are something like 1,400 videos in my channel. Have a look at the playlists. Because I talk about largely old systems, mainly 8-bit, a lot of the stuff that I talk about is equally as relevant now. So you can watch a 4-year-old video and it would still be relevant because I'm talking about old stuff anyway. So anyway guys, listen, have an absolute stonking weekend. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching.